Yeah, we had Robin on 5 years ago. We had Professor Nutt on. I've had the whole
They're
slew.
awesome.
We've been talking about psychedelics for a long time here on the show, and I was in Costa Rica recently for 3 ayahuasca ceremonies.
Oh, did you go to
No, Rhythmia. No, I went to Saltara with Dennis McKenna, and we were.
The only reason I asked that is I'm having Josh, who runs Rhythmia, and I are going to get on the phone next week. I'm not wired for ayahuasca ceremonies.
No.
I mean, DMT is super interesting, and I really like it. I'm not like. The last thing I could possibly want is like by psychedelics draped in ritual. I'm not interested.
Okay.
Like I don't want a shaman drumming in the corner. Like no, that'll
you can
kill
look
me.
past the ritual. But have you had ayahuasca experiences?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a shaman kind of singing. For me, it just keeps me focused.
Yeah, some people love it. Some people love it.
The
It's
ritual's
just not how I'm wired.
Okay, I find the ritual quite minimal. But anyways, one thing I did notice is that, this is an interesting question because does it quiet that frontal cortex down enough to where you can maybe see what we're doing to the environment? Because a lot of people report these experiences and these thoughts in connection with nature and that kind of thing. And do you think that is what's happening there?
So it's interesting, and there's a lot of data on this. I mean, there's tons of data that psychedelics and flow as well, altered states. What I would talk about is the ecstatic spectrum, right? So you have awe, trance states, psychedelic states, flow states, on and on, out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences. If you look at them neurobiologically, which is what we've talked about in Stealing Fire a little bit, and by we, I mean myself and my partner, Jamie Wheel, who I run the Flow Genome Project with, and we wrote Stealing Fire together. This is not the royal we, there's an actual we here. All of these experiences roughly do the same thing to the brain. So they all turn off the prefrontal cortex, they all push the same combination of neurochemistry, similar combinations, and they have very similar brainwave signatures. So they're really similar experiences in the brain, and one of their effects that's really well known is they tend to increase appreciation in nature. Now they tend actually to increase empathy and perspective, and what you gain is the stuff that your brain is editing out, right? Like if you look at Robin's work, if you look at the fMRI stuff, what does it look like? It looks like connections all over the brain. What is that in a psychological sense? It's perspective and new ideas and seeing things you never saw before. And for most people, the stuff they never saw before, unless you're a committed outdoor athlete and really spend a lot of time in nature, or you have a career that takes you in those directions, you're not going to have those connections. You're not going to see those things, and so it tends to open people up to them, which is fantastic. So yes, I do. Like there does seem to be a connection, and I'm excited by the fact that there's a huge psychedelic renaissance going on, because it might mean that people start seeing more of the natural world and caring more about it.
It also induces cooperation.
It does, for sure.
I mean, you can go all back to, Terence McKenna and stoned ape theory and all that stuff, about what that induces and, orgiastic behavior and collaboration. But like, it definitely, I've had a few experiences.
No, I mean,
it's going towards that.
Yeah, no, that's what I said earlier, where like all the 21st century skills, right? You need a state of consciousness for it. Of course it induces collaboration. That's right, this is how the brain was trained to collaborate. That's sort of what it's built for.